It's not uncommon these days to see a lot of people prattling on about how gaming is dying, how it's been on a downhill trend for years, how the good old days were just plain better. And to an extent, I agree. There were a lot less microtransactions and unfinished games back then, but that doesn't mean things are complete garbage nowadays. Games are more beautiful than ever, we have more varied art styles, games continue to be refined to incredible degrees, and we still have undisputable masterpieces these days like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Persona 5, and Super Mario Odyssey. Gaming season, what used to be E3, has just wrapped up, and looking through the announcements this year, there's a whole lot to be excited for coming in 2023 and beyond, so allow me to show you the games from the major presentations this year that excited me the most. Summer Games Fest was mostly a whole lot of it looks fine, but there were some highlights in there like Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. This looks cool, love that Ubisoft is actually making a 2D game with seemingly a decent budget behind it. I'm interested in what style it'll be in. I think it'll be a Metroidvania because the influence from Dread is painfully obvious in some places. That's certainly not a bad thing, however, because Metroid Dread is excellent. But yeah, Princess Persia looks pretty awesome. Princess Persia looks pretty awesome. I'm sorry. Not long after that reveal came Mortal Kombat 1. It's technically not a Taken title. See, it's got the number 1 in it. Now, I'll admit I'm not the biggest fighting game fan, but seeing the showcase at Summer Games Fest, I'm actually kind of interested in this game. The fighting seems really satisfying, having guest characters come in for moves is super cool, and it looks really accessible for dumbasses like me. Oh yeah, and the fatalities are on point. Moving on to something less the Blue Blair's latest title. My Sonic-obsessed friend has a couple words on this one.
The only thing I can think of is making fandom references, but I think that's good. I've come to make an announcement. Shadow the Hedgehog is unfortunately not in Sonic Superstars. But you know what? Who cares? It's a new Sonic game, and I love new Sonic games. And that's the end of my announcement. Goodbye.
As for me, this game looks awesome. It seems like it plays really well, all the stages are original, and it even has co-op. This truly feels like a modern 2D Sonic and seems to be continuing the series' upward trajectory, which is awesome. I'm really excited to check this one out and hopefully add it to the multiplayer lineup I play with friends. And now for a game that'll take me away from my friends. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was a fantastic last reveal for Summer Games Fest, and the trailer was packed with stuff to talk about. The world looks massive in a good way, and they seem to be drawing a straight line from the first game mechanically, which, I mean, if you have one of the best combat systems in a game, I sure hope so. I'm hoping this game is more exploration heavy than the first, and I'm excited to experience the iconic story beats that should be in this game, depending on if Nomura tinkers with them or not. I love the first part of 7 Remake, and I'm looking forward to experiencing more of it. And now on to Xbox's presentation. I feel way too hygienic for this. This was surprisingly good, and actually had games from some of their first-party studios. It's as if they're giving people a reason to buy an Xbox! Unfortunately, a lot of the games are coming in 2024, but what they showed was solid. The presentation was just too long though, like, cut 20 minutes off, man, that was too much. South of Midnight looks pretty. It's like a Tim Burton movie. I have no clue what to think outside of that. I wish they actually showed some gameplay. And here we have such a thing. At first glance, I thought that Clockwork Revolution was a new BioShock, but I guess not. It looks really quite cool though. I love its steampunk aesthetic, and the idea of going back in time to change the future is just the coolest thing ever. Can you tell I've played Ocarina of Time? So yeah, cool looking game with some great voice acting too. This next game should too. Maybe. God, I'm the transition master! Anyway, Starfield looks pretty cool. The world seems super detailed and hopefully they're fun to explore. I've never played a Bethesda game before, so I don't have a super good idea of what this game will play like, which I wish they illustrated better in the trailers. And no, I can't be bothered to check out the Direct. Despite that, I think I might check this one out. The concept is, at least to me, inherently really cool, and I'm intrigued as to what they'll do with it. Shut up with the whole 25 years in the making thing BS though, Bethesda. I get that it's your first new IP in 25 years and that you've had the idea for a while, but development started in 2015, come on now. Keeping with the space theme, Star Wars Outlaws. This honestly looks fantastic. Graphically, it's excellent, I'm liking the look of the gameplay, and it's cool that we're actually getting a speeder section. And I love that we're playing as a bounty hunter, almost calling back to 1313, but obviously open world. Speaking of, that concept has so much potential in Star Wars, especially with the whole multi-planet idea. The game is kinda giving me Solo vibes, and I am that movie's #1 fan, so I am so here for that. But, and I hate to rain on anyone's parade here, but let's remember that this game is from Ubisoft. I guess we just have to hope it doesn't include their usual BS. We got a little look at Playground's Fable, and I really like what I'm seeing. I've only dabbled in the first game, but I love the humor here and the whole British feel. They've nailed it! The world also seems really fun. Some of it kinda reminded me of Pikmin, and the tiny bit of combat seemed pretty dope. I also really like how they did the trailer. That was fun. Now, switching from a Western RPG to a Japanese one, I'm not gonna lie, Metaphor looks insane, but I am all for it. The art style is dope, UI goes incredibly hard, and is made by the people who made Persona, so you know that the combat and story are gonna be on point. Also, Shoji Meguro is on the soundtrack, so I am prepared for my music playlist to take in like 100 more songs when this game comes out. It looks super out there too in aesthetics and all that jazz, which is totally my jam. Really looking forward to this one. Wait, Xbox made a game with an art style that isn't realistic? Sound the alarms! There's been a breach! Seriously though, this is visually awesome sauce. I love how all the areas of the world look. It has the word dungeons in it, and that reminds me of Zelda, and we all know I love Zelda. Combat looks fun, traversal seems varied. I'm really liking the looks of this one. Definitely gonna check it out. Another game I'm really liking the looks of is Persona 3 Remake. Hell yeah! It's real! Look at this looks incredible! I love the aesthetic of it. It looks perfectly streamlined to be as snappy as 5 in terms of gameplay, and it doesn't include the female route. Damn it! But honestly, this still looks absolutely incredible. I just hope they don't mess with the OST. As long as they leave that and the core of the game intact, we're good! Now, here's a series that had a reveal in the Xbox and PlayStation presentation, so I'm just gonna group them together. And Sega, you've put out like 50 Like a Dragon games in the past 2 seconds! It's time to Oh, okay, yeah, this is actually warranted. There's also Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which looks funny. Both games look like typical Yakuza games, but that's certainly not a bad thing. Although, hopefully they don't lead to series oversaturation. The PlayStation Showcase was probably the one that had the most interesting game reveals per minute to me, and one of those interesting reveals was Ultros, a Metroidvania with colors. As a fan of both, this looks good. I love the animation and how well separated the background and foreground is. It's definitely inspired by Hollow Knight, and I feel like it'll be the yin to Hollow Knight's yang. It also seems to get kinda creepy, which I am all here for. Love that in a Metroidvania. Apparently this game's been in development forever, but that seems to have paid off. The combat looks fun, it's done by Platinum Games, so duh. And as with every game I've talked about, it looks really pretty, although to me it looks a bit generic at points, but hopefully that's just my perception with what the trailer showed. Spider-Man 2's trailer confused me because at the start I couldn't tell it was Spider-Man because there was no Spider-Man, but then it showed me Spider-Man and I was like, oh, this is Spider-Man. The game looks very good. It looks like another Spider-Man PS4, so that's probably a really good thing. I wouldn't know because I haven't played the first, so yeah. I also forgot to script this part. Whoops. Anyways, Spider-Man looks pretty badass, but you know what's more badass? Phantom Blade Zero, and not looks, is. This game will be fantastic. Look at it! And I love how well the art style works with the color palette they chose for it. It's not often you see a game that's enhanced by conventionally drab colors, but this game does excellently. Oh yeah, gameplay exists too, and it looks awesome. Movement looks super satisfying, and combat seems fluid, fast, and varied. Every time I see this game, I just get more and more sold. Like so many games here, it looks visually fantastic. Both the 2D and 3D art looks top-notch. And even outside of that, it's just so charming. Even the name, The Plucky Squire, is just fun. It looks very much inspired by Zelda, but also it incorporates just a ton of different genres into it. I'm really looking forward to this game. I can't wait to see how it turns out. Yeah! Honestly though, once we see more of this game, then I'll see if I'm on board for it or not. But from what we've been hearing, it looks like it should be pretty special. Staying true to the original game and keeping the original voice cast is exactly what I always wanted from an MGS3 remake, and as long as it truly delivers on these, it should be a treat to experience. This was definitely the highlight of the showcase, although the trailer showed way less than I wanted. MGS3 may have been the highlight of the showcase, but the highlight of me playing PlayStation recently was Final Fantasy XVI. I played the demo for this, and it was simply incredible. The graphics are beyond gorgeous, although it can have a hard time holding 60 FPS. The soundtrack is beautiful, the story really captivated me, and the combat is fantastic. I have nothing but praise. It's incredible how little time it took for me to get invested in the characters and world of this game. Everything is richly detailed, and the lore runs deep, but you can still enjoy it if you don't usually delve into that kind of stuff like me. The demo was a little light on gameplay, but with how gripping the story is, I honestly didn't really mind. This game blew my mind. It is an easy Game of the Year contender. It is very M-rated though, so I probably won't be able to play it for a little while, unfortunately. However, if you have the opportunity, I can already say with confidence that this will be incredible. Definitely pick it up. The Nintendo Direct had games, which I'm ordering as they appear for once because I don't feel like reformatting the script, and fuck another farming sim. Opening with Pokemon DLC. Man, I didn't want to ruin my credibility this early. I like the grass, the game still looks as shitty as ever, but I gotta say the music had me feeling things, man. Maybe I'm just getting old and nostalgic, but it was so much fun seeing what Pokemon were returning and going, oh, I know that one! I'm really hoping that the world design is good in these, because my biggest problem with Scarlet and Violet was that the further up the map you went, the worse the world design felt. I feel like these could be like the Sword and Shield DLC, where they're the best part of the game, which wouldn't really be that hard, but anyways, I think they'll be fun. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to run from the angry mob that's trying to attack me. A first-person roguelike, Myth Force is inspired by the Saturday morning cartoons of the '80s, and it actually looks really good. This is the only co-op shooter to ever intrigue me, and for good reason. It doesn't take itself super seriously, and has a really cool art style and vibe. They also made a He-Man reference at the end of the trailer. Utterly brilliant. Not as brilliant as the next thing, though! I've been waiting years for this. Literally, since the announcement, I've been joking about it, and there are people who thought it was secretly cancelled, but they were wrong! I was right! Believing paid off! I knew it! Now all that's left is Pokemon Sleep. I can't wait. This is incredible. It means it's coming. You guys have no clue how much this means to me. Moving away from the event of the century, Mario RPG HD is a thing. No way, this looks awesome! The graphics are incredible, and it looks faithful, so you know this one's already in the bag. The music in the trailer was superb, perfectly replicating the sound of the original while still retaining its own feel, and Yoko Shimomura's in charge of it. This thing's literally gonna be a slam dunk of a game! Also, they're keeping all the characters and charming squish art style from the original, which is so heartwarming to see. Finally, Mario can be weird again. Princess Peach game? What the hell is this? Looks kinda cool, but they didn't even have a title for this, and it seems to be pretty far off. Just like Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which is getting a port to the Switch! This looks fairly pretty, but why? It's pretty unanimous that both the original and 3 are better than 2, so why port it? I'm not offended, it's nice to have it available, but I'm just confused. It also seems to have been revealed kind of early, and I can't help but think that this and the Peach game could have been held off for a later direct. The Sparks of Hope DLC seems cool. The music is top-notch because it's from Grant Kirkhope. It looks good, but I haven't played any Mario plus Rabbids yet, so I'm not particularly excited for it. I'm more intrigued by Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince. Basically Dragon Quest but Pokemon. The trailer was goofy, but this game actually looks pretty fun. It's a JRPG, which is my jam, and apparently the first Dragon Quest Monsters game to come out in the West since the DS. The voice acting in this was so bad, but so charming at the same time. I loved it. You know, and I've had enough of fluctuating quality, so let's move on to the latest entry in one of the most consistent game series of all time, not including you, Pikmin 4. I played the demo of Pikmin 3 Deluxe a while back, and from what I remember, I really enjoyed it. Honestly, I'm just happy to see Pikmin fans get what they've waited for so long. This game looks like more Pikmin, which, from what I know, is always a good thing. This one also has a dog thing, so it's automatically good. Oh my god, even Pikmin 1 and 2 are getting ports. That's awesome! Shit, they changed the logos. Even for 3? I love this company! I got super excited about this when I saw it at the PlayStation Showcase, but then forgot about it until the Direct, but this looks awesome! It really looks like the definitive Metal Gear collection. It obviously doesn't have MGS4, but it does have everything up to MGS3, even Snake's Revenge! Okay, maybe not definitive. It also has a bunch of little extras, which I am all here for. So yeah, this collection looks awesome, and even though I have the Legacy collection, I'm thinking of picking this one up. Although I will say that Metal Gear 1 looks like it's running on a peanut. Another thing I'll probably pick up is Penny's Big Breakaway, a 3D platformer from the Sonic Mania team. This looks what I'm guessing a Sonic game on the Saturn would have been like. No, not you. It seems like what Sonic Team might have done, and it looks excellent. Movement looks smooth and polished, and the levels look like a lot of fun. I have no doubts that this will be awesome, but who cares about this because Petey's back in Mario Kart! And Wiggler? Now they can't argue. Also, the course looks pretty cool. I have no doubts that my siblings will laugh endlessly at the toilet. Moving away from the topic of lavatories, Star Ocean: The Second Story R looks just incredible! Holy bejesus! Square Enix just keeps one-upping themselves with the HD 2D games like, wow! This game also looks pretty cool in general. It's a classic JRPG with real-time battles, which looks like a lot of fun. You wanna know what's more fun though? A WarioWare that's basically a sequel to Shake It! This is exactly what I wanted from a Switch WarioWare game. It actually uses the tech in the Joy-Con, and the idea of using stupid poses to do the microgames is genius, and will make it a hell of a lot of fun in multiplayer. This has the potential to be one of the best WarioWare games ever. I can only hope that it doesn't squander that opportunity. These look goofy. The final game revealed at this Direct, and one of the major Directs of gaming season, was Super Mario Wonder, and it looks incredible. This trailer genuinely made me tear up a little. This is exactly what I wanted from a new 2D Mario. The art style feels fresh and alive without straying too far from the series' roots. The levels look wacky and fun, and the main gimmick of the Wonder Flower has literally endless potential. It has grind rails and pipes with eyes. It's perfect. This looks like the return to form that I and so many others have been waiting for from Mario, and it was the absolute best way they could have closed this out. Finally, Mario has freed himself from the stagnance of the new Super games and has returned as the king of the platformer. I have a thing where I can feel games through their trailers, and I can tell you that this one will be something special. Also, Elephant Mario. So that Nintendo Direct was a pretty good bow to put on gaming season. It dragged a little in parts, but it had some fantastic reveals, and I think it proves my point that gaming these days isn't all that bad. That doesn't make up for the fact that Fae Farm was included in 2 presentations, though.